Relishing Dead podcast, where we devour everything in the TWD universe. I'm Dawn.
I'm Carol.
I'm Barb.
And we're missing Eliza tonight. I'm sure she misses being here and says hello to everyone. So tonight it is Dead City Season 2, Episode 2. What is it? What was it? I went blank. Shitty lesson.
One shitty lesson. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So what did you think?
I liked it. I had two spots that I really enjoyed.
You seem a little hesitant on that one, Dawn.
Well, there was good points, but it was a little slow, but there was good points in the episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was back to the point where I was going to bang my head up against the wall.
Really? Why?
Because it was just dragging. And then I knew I shouldn't have liked another character because they took him away.
I know. I was sad.
It was just too slow for me. I mean, there were some parts that, Carol and I were talking about that were very good, but it just, oh my God, it just took forever to get to that shocking moment for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was, it just kind of was full of fluff. There's a lot of stuff that I know that they're trying to set the mood, so to speak, on some things, to kind of get an idea of what's going on with each character. But I mean,
because it is 8 episodes this time instead of 6.
Right.
So they're gonna put a little bit more information in there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed when Maggie knew that he was the Mo and knocking that other woman out.
Navarez or whatever her name is. Yeah. Yeah. That was a highlight for me too.
But her face when she saw that, Herschel was the Mo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree.
I was saying, I wonder what was going through her mind.
Pam said, think we have another crossover plot. Is Dama a former political like Pamela or Deanna, or famous like Beta? The historian knew her.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Hi, Anissa. All right. So let's just go ahead and get into these things.
Yep.
All right. So the very first thing that we see are the bugs on the floor. And, they're just kind of all scattered about. And what did I say the guy's name was? Barb?
Victor,
right. So Victor comes in and he starts having a conversation with Negan. And this was where I was like, okay, this is fluff.
that was pointless.
Yeah.
They wanted you to love the character just so they could take him away. That's what happened. And that's why I was mad.
Yes, exactly.
It was a pointless conversation.
Yeah. He explains to Negan about him finding his composer, right? And then he finally, and the whole time that he's doing this, Negan is not responding to anything that he says.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he starts playing Bach, Negan looks up and responds to the music.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a connection between the two of them going on, because Negan also is responding to Bach and the many layers that Bach supposedly has. So I really didn't understand the whole interaction, because at this point it doesn't play into anything, but we will see later on that it does. So, and then we're with Navarez and all of them, and they're discussing how they're going to approach the going into New York, with their troop or whatever. And they're discussing their entrance.
And they should have listened to Maggie.
should have listened to Maggie as much as I
She
can stand Maggie.
She's been right the whole time. That's what the other dude said.
Exactly. So they're discussing the whole entrance, and Maggie comes walking in, and Navarez is like trying to exert dominance. So Maggie and Pearlie go outside and they have a conversation. And in the meanwhile, Negan and the Croat show up at the Dama's place, and they roll up like a couple of pimps. First off, yeah. And then this was another thing that I didn't understand. Like, the Dama starts talking about this painting of Saturn eating his own children, and it's her trying to exert dominance as well, like, trying to explain the crazy that's inside of her. So that was, to me, it was like, again, just full of.
It makes me think of Fear and the children.
Yeah. Right. So then I found this interesting. When he started talking about Negan's family showing up, he grabs the bat. I mean, he's holding it down. But when she starts talking about this, he lifts it. And it's almost like you can see the thought process in Negan's brain. It's like, I'm plotting on how to end this woman. And there's these subtle little hints throughout this episode that happen anytime somebody, threatens, not threaten, but anytime somebody brings up something about Negan's family or somebody that he cares about, you see these physical things that he does with his body, these little subtle nuances. Anissa said, I think she's explaining that she has no loyalty to anyone and no soft spot for children, unlike Negan. I would agree with that there's a disconnect with this woman, that she doesn't care about shit. So.
And I also like this part because he looked like Negan in this episode more than he did the last episode. His face expressions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. All right.
Hi, everyone in the comments.
So Maggie is outside the tents and stuff, and she sees something going on, and we see the signal. And it kind of freaks her out a little bit, so she goes to investigate. And she sees these tires on fire. And she sees the blue fabric. And so that's kind of a clue to her. She hasn't figured out who's doing it. It's just something that she recognizes. She sees, okay, there's this clue that it's this blue fabric. And then little Herschel shows up. And I thought it was interesting that they had the Winnebago.
Yeah.
Right? I loved that they had that little homage to Dale, that they had the Winnebago in the background like that. I thought that was really cool. And you see, every once in a while, you'll see these little things, these little Easter eggs from the mothership. So then they're having, and this is, Dawn loved this because she messaged us in our little group thing about how she absolutely loved this scene. But Maggie's having this conversation with Navarez, and she just cold cocks her right there in front of everybody. And I love that. And then, of course, that gets her in trouble. And it also gets Herschel in trouble. And then this was one of the things that I was just in awe over. How sick and twisted is it to use walker bodies and fill them up with missiles? I mean, how sick and twisted is that?
That's using your resource. People are a resource.
Yeah, exactly. Even walkers are a resource. I absolutely love that. And yes, Maria, Maggie gained some points for that. She did. And you guys know that I am not a Maggie fan, but when she clocked Navarez, I was like, oh yeah, I was screaming and hollering. Yes. I thought that was great. But yeah, they use these bodies as missiles and it just cracked me up. I thought that was just absolutely brilliant and fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So then you see Negan, he is up on the tower and they're putting these things together and he's having a conversation and the Croat shows up.
Negan. He
So
says it too.
He does. And so he's having a conversation and he's telling Victor about this dinner
Mm-hmm.
that Negan hosted. And I thought it was really a brilliant thing that they were talking about how they had set this huge feast up and they were the promise of all of these this venison, this deer meat and everything. And in the last minute, they switch out the deer meat for walker meat. Yeah. And yeah, it was pretty gross. And then whoever their guests were like growing up and having, yeah. Which I was kind of glad to hear because it was like, when we had the whole scene with Bob and the terminus, the animals, it was nice to know that that's kind of the reaction that your body would have is that instant refusal of that meat. But I thought it was interesting because at some point Negan's telling the story and he's actually smiling about it.
It makes me think of Dumb and Dumber when he's like,
yeah, exactly. But again, you get endeared with Victor and you start to like him a lot and
hate.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, poor Barb. She really liked this character. And that's when you kind of get the idea that, okay, this guy is not around for long. And then we switch over to Maggie and Herschel. We see them in the bottom of the boat and they are handcuffed to poles. And so we kind of know what happened to them after Navarez, put them in the brig or whatever. And so we're on the ship, we're on the boat in the harbor, and Milton 2.0 obviously cannot handle the sea life and throws up over the side of the boat. And we're back to Negan and the Croat having a conversation about what's going on. And the Croat.
Go
ahead.
Did you get the feeling when Negan kept looking through the scope? Did you get the feeling like he was back at Hilltop throwing those arrows?
Yeah.
Like he was feeling guilty?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every time he looked through the scope, I just got that feeling that he was right back at the Hilltop.
Yeah, this episode is very, there's a lot of him conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. You get a lot of that in this episode. And then they're on the ship and Pearlie starts seeing those little bombs in the water and he starts recognizing them for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Maria says, I got the Milton vibe too. Baby, I'm telling you, that kid was Milton 2.0 for sure. So the bombs start setting off. I know, it's funny. The bombs start setting off on the ship. Every time the ship hits one, the bombs start to go off. Okay, so I had a question about this. And I know we're kind of moving a little fast, but so I had a question about this because Ginny shows up, Maggie and Herschel are handcuffed.
Mm-hmm.
Poles. She has the same kind of handsaw that Merle had up on the roof.
Great minds think alike. I was thinking the same thing.
Right? So she sawed so quickly through the chains. But yet Merle cut his fucking hand off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I thought the same exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really confused me because it's like, why did Merle have to lose his hand? Why didn't he just cut the thing?
Because it was in the script, just like how Ross got out of the basement.
We need to ask Mikey.
Yeah. Because she cut through these handcuffs so
She had a
quick.
better saw.
She cut through them so damn quick. See, Pam thought the same thing. Maria thought the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like 2 hits with that handsaw, and she was through those chains.
It was weak.
I don't know. I didn't buy it. I just couldn't get on board because Merle wasn't too bright. He could have also just cut his thumb off instead of the whole hand. And yeah, that's funny.
Maybe he's a little deranged after being in the sun for so long.
Well, we knew he was deranged because he was talking to himself.
Yeah.
Answering himself up on that roof for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that bothered the hell out of me that she cut through those so quickly.
Men don't have patience either, so.
Well, there's that. So this was the other scene that I didn't get why they even did it. So they escape from that room and they go to the lifeboats, and Jenny's just trying to help, and Herschel starts yelling at her like, she's my mom, not yours. And I didn't understand that whole interaction either. Maybe just because I'm an old lady, maybe I didn't get it.
I think Jenny has seen what's going on. I think she knows.
See, I do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she knows that he's up to something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. He graduated the 3rd grade in redneck school. That's what. Maria. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we get to the bomb making, the torpedo making. And I thought that this was absolutely brilliant that they did this, that they filled the walker bodies with the gas and used them as torpedoes. I mean, the brains to come up with something like that. I don't know who the person is. I don't know if it's my man. I don't know who it is coming up with this shit, but using dead bodies as torpedoes is absolutely brilliant.
And I seen where Gail Ann Hurd was on, her name was on the producer part or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And I noticed that Greg is the consulting producer. So I don't know, exactly what his role is, what he's doing, but it's kind of cool that they're using him, they're consulting with him. Hi, Julie. So this was the crux of the whole episode here, where Negan is looking through the telescope and he sees Herschel on the boat. So he knows who is on that boat. And he tells them to hold off a second, waits for the firing until he sees them on the lifeboat. When he sees Herschel on the lifeboat, then and only then does he continue with the body torpedoes. So I thought that was just the whole thing of Negan and kids, and his relationship with Maggie, or non-relationship, whatever, whether or not we'll get hate bang, we don't know. But his whole relationship with Maggie and the kids and stuff like that, I thought that was important. And again, it goes back to his whole development as a character and feeling bad and guilty for a lot of the things that he's done. We see a ton of that in this episode. And then he says fire and they blow up, but the Croat and Victor both see him hesitate. And Victor isn't quite sure, but the Croat. So can we talk about the Croat for a second? Okay. This boy is so enamored by Negan. He is so obsessed with Negan. Knows what Negan is capable of. Hero worship is not even the beginning of what this character has for Negan. He has got him on a pedestal that is so high because he knows what he's capable of. And he knows that he's got this mean streak, that he's disappointed when he sees Negan have a touch of humanity in him. Any type of humanity that resonates from Negan and the Croat sees it, he's disappointed by it. Which to me says that the Croat, as bad of a character and as evil as a character that he is, I think he's just as much a psychopath as what Lizzie was. Lizzie, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that we're seeing evidence of another psychopath with this Croat guy, because he has no empathy whatsoever as far as humanity goes. And so this was right after that where they hit the shore. They come off at the docks. They see all of these walkers and stuff. Did you guys get the feeling that Pearlie knew that one walker?
No, I missed that.
Okay, so there's this one walker. If you see the bottom right-hand picture, there's this one walker that Pearlie is staring down. And it's almost like he wants to put it down, but he's afraid to put it down because he's got a connection with this walker.
No, I didn't notice that.
He hesitated.
Yeah, there's nothing that's been confirmed yet, but I have a feeling that maybe Pearlie noticed this particular walker and has a connection with them, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's it's kind of like when Gabe in the food pantry,
Yeah,
saw his organist.
I totally missed that one.
Yeah, and hesitated. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna. I don't know if that's true or not. It just kind of gave me the vibes that Pearlie might have known this particular person. Elizabeth, you noticed it. I'm glad to see that. Anissa said, I was thinking it was some of the people who didn't make it. That's a real possibility as well. But yeah, I think that he had a connection to that particular walker, and Marcia agrees as well. All right, so we finally get to stuff happening here.
No.
Poor Barb. Like, I just fell in love with him, and now he's. So the Dama we know is a sick and twisted individual as well, and they bring Milton 2.0.
I thought she was going to kill Milton before she killed Victor.
Yeah, I did too. I thought for sure he was a goner. But then she just used him to watch, she was just like, okay, watch this shit. And she takes his notes and stuff away from him. And then you have this whole interaction where she makes Victor play his violin. And of course he plays Bach. And I don't know, did you guys kind of get the feeling like he kind of knew that this was it for him?
Yeah.
To where he decided to play Bach just because that was something that was the last thing he wanted to be playing was Bach, because it meant so much to him. I don't know. Don, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm just more confused of why the Dama has so much power. Like she's just a little old frail lady. Like they could overtake her in a second. Like what
Right.
did she have?
Yeah.
Especially Negan. But Negan was being held down by 2 guards. I mean, I get that part, but I'm with you, Dawn.
Yeah.
There's something else she's connected to because she's not intimidating herself.
No, not at all. So I'm not quite sure. She has some mafia wife vibe who wasn't the dom in normal life and wants to be the boss. Yeah. And Anissa said, I think if he played something different, he might have survived. I don't think he was going to survive regardless of what he played.
No, definitely not.
You know, but yeah, the Dama is definitely ruthless. I was a little disappointed that we didn't see Kim Coates' character in this episode. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
Because I think that Kim Coates' character is going to be badass. So then we lose Victor.
Which was very violent.
And then he posted a pen. He posted on his page, the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm sorry. I should have liked you.
I know. So we were watching the episode and like Dave was like watching these, goes, well, that was really weird. How did she do that? And I said, well, she stuck it in and then she went, you know, and to see that just the rip in his neck and to see him lying on the floor with his violin and everything was kind of like almost like she was punishing him not only for what he did with Negan, but the fact that he gave him some joy as well. You know, like nobody's supposed to be happy under my watch. And then, okay, can we just talk about the whole Pamela Milton and that whole moment? Can we just talk about that?
She didn't reach in for a coin.
Right? What is it with these Psycho Bettys and their boy toys? I mean, come on.
Like, how did she even get involved with him? Like, yeah, I want to know all these answers.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the whole dominant female, sub male.
Yeah. I said the same thing. I looked at the screen. I went, what are we back to Josh and Pamela?
Yeah, right.
Lance?
That's exactly the vibe that I got. I don't know. The whole Lance and Pamela thing was just really kind of weird. They're kind of like just copying and pasting for me was this whole thing, you know. But he wasn't happy. He was, I don't know. I don't know if he was happy. Yeah, I know, Anissa. She said, lol. She whispered into his bad ear, too.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't understand that either. Like, he can't fucking hear you. You got to turn his head or you got to go on the other side.
Well, that's why you seen him just sit there.
Yeah.
I ain't hearing this, lady.
I know. He's like, what? A? Yeah.
I told you, but I didn't hear it.
Maria says, I was like, our David Alpay of TWD died. I know, right? Yeah. I don't understand that whole Milton thing. It was crazy. Okay, so this was the other part of the episode that I really enjoyed. And you all know that I am not a huge Maggie fan.
Oh.
I don't like how she is nowadays. But that being said, Lauren Cohen was absolutely choice in this scene because she sees Herschel over there helping the other people. She recognizes the blue fabric being the same fabric as the signal. Okay. And the whole transition of Maggie recognizing and it clicking in her head was so subtle and so beautiful because she recognizes, she's like questioning first, like what's going on. She recognizes what's happening. She realizes it clicks. And then Herschel comes over and, starts talking to her, and he says, "I love you, Mom."
Mm-hmm.
And the sadness in her heart when she realizes that Herschel's the one that gave the signal in the first place, the absolute desperation of what the fuck do I do? This is my son. This is the child that I love.
And like I said, would love to know what was going on in her head at that moment.
Yeah.
She's probably thinking, I got to get him out of here.
Yeah. This, out of all of the shows, out of all of the episodes, this is probably my absolute favorite Maggie moment out of everything.
Really? I liked her talk with Negan. One of
I'm
my
just
favorites.
thinking the same thing. Holy shit.
That was my favorite.
I like that conversation with her and Negan, but I would say that this is my absolute favorite. I was mesmerized by Lauren and her acting
Because it's Herschel, and it's like, that's Glenn's kid. You got to think, what the hell is she thinking in her head? Like, that's just like a wow. That's just too much to even swallow.
It was. And Lauren's acting in this scene was heartbreaking.
Yeah, you were with her on it for sure.
Yeah. Just knowing that it was Glenn Jr. and all the disappointment and the fear and the heartbreak and the love and everything just exuded off of the screen. I absolutely top number one for me, for sure.
I had I mean, I know it's not that drastic and she could fix him, but I had a Carol Lizzie moment. Just look at the flowers, Herschel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. When she's having the conversation with Tyrese and she's like, he can't be around other people. Herschel can't be around other people, apparently.
That's what I was thinking. Don't look at the flowers.
Don't look at the flowers. Yeah. That right there was just heartbreaking, because all the questions in her brain, because as a mom, you're like, you want the best for your kids, and when you realize that your kids are going down a road that you would never want for them is just terrifying. And that's everything that I felt on that screen. It was beautiful and scary all at the same time.
And it's amazing that she could do that when she's not a parent herself.
I know.
It was like a happy Mother's Day moment for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, that's why I love you, Barb. It's that twisted brain of yours. I love that. That's funny. So then, of course, Jenny's watching this whole thing, this whole interaction between Maggie and Herschel transpire. Okay. And Dawn had said, was it you, Dawn, that had said that you were questioning, that Jenny has seen all of this and she kind of knows what's going on? Yeah. And I love the fact that she's the one who ended up with Navarez's gun. And she ain't telling nobody. She got that bitch hidden. And that's going to come into play in the next couple of episodes, I think.
Well, that's just like she knew about the silo and all the, she knows more than what she lets on.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's going to kill Herschel with that gun.
She's going to kill the Dama.
Yeah.
And Herschel.
I think so. I think that she sees what's going on and she doesn't like it at all. She was thinking, damn, we should have used a pharmacy. That's so wrong, Maria. Oh my God. That's funny. Kiki says, for some reason, I feel like Herschel went there with an alternate motive. Yeah. So we're kind of getting the idea that Herschel is helping that group somehow, for some reason, and we don't know why.
Because he got his toe cut off.
You want his toe back, damn it.
Because they told him they would cut another toe off.
He figures that if he does this, that he can get his toe back.
Yeah.
A lot of good it's going to do him. I don't know, but
Barb.
What?
Your face expression.
yeah, that's great. So they are our group. Apparently, that's who they're supposed to be. Our group finally makes it to Central Park. Now they're in the park, and that's where they leave us. And the last week's episode, you hear the roaring, and I don't know if it's a lion,
Tigers or bears. Oh my.
yeah, exactly. we don't know what is going on in
Shiva
Central
2.0.
Shiva 2.0, finally, yes. We're not quite sure what we're going to see or what we're going to get in Central Park, but I have high hopes that it's going to be much more exciting than this episode. I mean, I hate to say it because this episode to me was not exciting.
No.
I was right with Barb where it was like, oh my God, I'm going to bang my head up against a wall or something, because there was a lot of fluff in it for me.
Your copy and paste idea was pretty good though, because there was a lot of it.
I did like the little nuggets that we got.
Yeah.
The story with Negan telling Victor about the dinner gave us some insight into back in the day when Negan was with the Croat and Simon and all of them. And I always appreciate any type of throwback stories or something from when we met them in the mothership. And I loved the Winnebago. That was just a nice little nugget to get, But yeah, Maria, you're right. It was a snore fest for me. There was not a lot of excitement in this. The only thing that I really, really loved, just the two things, was the fact that Maggie clocked Navarez and the fact that we got the body torpedoes.
Yeah, and like I said, I was excited in the first episode because it was really good. So I was looking forward to it. And then I told Carol and Dawn, I was sitting there like, oh no, here we go again.
Yeah.
Right back to it.
Yeah. I didn't understand the need for the, I mean, I shouldn't say I didn't understand the need. I do. Their character building, they're trying to paint Negan in this light of having this great arc, coming from the bad guy that he was in the Sanctuary to now being the true savior, because that's what they called themselves, was the saviors. Actually embodying that role, and feeling remorse for his actions.
My favorite part was the Maggie and Herschel thing, but I also liked Negan waiting on Herschel to get off that shit.
Yeah.
To see the consequences of that. But yeah, Negan and Maggie and Herschel was the best part of the whole episode for me.
Yeah. I also liked Dama's kill, not because she killed Victor, but it was the fact that we did see that side of her,
right?
Of why people were intimidated by her.
Yeah.
Because that's the first time she's ever done anything besides that was violent.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather have taken out Milton 2.0 before him. But.
I think Milton's going to be on his best behavior.
Yeah, I don't see him having a big arc. He's too much of a.
He's going to be like fucking Eugene and make it all the way to the end.
Right? Yeah, for some reason, and maybe he'll grow his hair out or something. I don't know. There's some characters that I don't get. Like I said, the Croat, he idolizes Negan.
He
was
warning Dama, Kiki.
Yeah.
He's being a mo.
Yeah. He was warning Dama and that group over on Manhattan that that they were coming.
Yeah.
For sure. A zombie lion? Yeah, Maria, I want a zombie lion so bad. I really do. Like he wanted Dama to come, but she'll off his mom, or does he want that? No, I don't think he wants that, Kiki. I just think that he's got Stockholm syndrome for sure. I think that he thinks that if he helps the Dama, there's got to be some sort of conversation that him and the Dama had
Yeah.
that his mom will be protected. And I think that that's, although as skewed as it is, I think that he thinks that that's the only way to keep his mom safe is if he helps the Dama. And of course it's misguided because we know that she's a psychopath as well. But you know, we'll see what happens. Like they wouldn't have seen the big ass Carnival light boat that they were on. I know, right, Maria? I mean, the fucking lights. I mean, can you know, it's like, don't have lights on. You don't need them. But they saw the boat coming from clear across the harbor. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that just I didn't understand them. Hi, Crystal. Yeah.
Yay.
That shit was bright as hell. It was. And then, you know, Pearlie and Maggie had that whole conversation about, you know, why did you even bring me if you weren't going to listen to me?
Kiki. They were all lit up like a present being delivered.
Yeah, I agree. Herschel is an artist. I think he's bonded with the Dama. He sees her as cultured and sophisticated. That could be part of the draw. But I think that she has manipulated him into thinking that it's the only way to keep his mom safe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm right there.
He didn't want her to go. He got mad when she had to leave. So.
Right. Yeah. And I'm right there with you, Elizabeth. It drove me crazy that they kept ignoring Maggie and her advice. I know. And again, I don't care for Maggie as a character. I don't like her arc and where she's been. But, you know, like she told Pearlie, I'm the one who has the experience. Why did you even bring me here if you weren't going to listen to me? I mean, what was the point? So, anyway.
Well, that wraps that up.
Yeah.
Like a present.
I mean, it's frustrating to watch this episode. I was really frustrated for sure. So, anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
That's
sure.
why it was one shitty lesson.
It was one shitty lesson. That's right. I like what you did there, Dawn. I appreciate that. Yeah, it was like a marching band announcing their arrival. I agree. So we know that Milton 2.0 was blown off the ship and was washed ashore, and the Dama and her guys got him. Where's the governor? Do we think she survived?
I don't know. Maybe. Maybe they got her captive in the next episode.
Because if we don't see it happen,
They're not dead.
that's right. So, I don't know. She died. Kiki said she died. I didn't see it happen, Kiki. We don't know where she's at. So I don't even know if she's still even a force in this whole thing or what, or if who's the next in charge if she dies. Do we know? Maggie. Maggie's in charge of New Babylon. I love it. There you go. Yeah. We don't know. Because we haven't seen, you know, we didn't see her die, so we don't know about that. So what do you guys think is going to happen in Central Park? What do you think that what do you think that Maggie and them are going to face in Central Park? What do you hope they face in Central Park, I should say? Dawn?
I think they're gonna face a group of people. some kind of like a tribe or whatever. Maybe some animals, but I see like an animalistic kind of group.
Okay.
Right,
Kind of
just
like
like
Lord
the
of the
people who were
Flies.
in the Farrell house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of a Lord of the Flies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like a
Yeah.
group of teenage males that are skateboarding the whole time.
There you go.
A big group of skateboarders.
I think they're going to look like barbarian cavemen.
Yeah. Feral skateboarders. That's what we're going to run into. Yeah. Flying monkeys. I hope we see some zombie flying monkeys. Rats. Big rats. Oh, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I just think the animals would be dead by now. That many years later.
Yeah.
But, it is the Walking Dead universe.
Well, it's gonna be big ass spiders because Carol would just love that.
Shut the fuck up.
Zombie flying monkeys.
Shut up. Yeah.
Spiders taking over Central Park.
My husband says rats, big rats. I don't know. I'm really hoping for some zoo animals because there is a zoo in Central Park. And that's what I'm hoping for. I want to see some lions, tigers, and bears for sure. Maybe some giraffes. Elephants would be cool.
They would already killed each other.
Who knows? The walkers would have fed on them, or at least some of them, right?
Yeah.
But
that's why I think that many years ahead, they would all be dead.
Yeah. But I really am hoping that some of the zoo animals have gotten loose and they've survived. That's what I want to see. I think that would be really, really cool, to get some of that. Because, even when Shiva was attacked by all those walkers, we don't know at this point. We haven't seen any zombie animals.
This ain't Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so we don't know. We don't know if that's a possibility. I mean, Shiva was torn apart by those walkers. So we don't know if walker pets are even an option. Maria, so monkeys can catch some human diseases. That is true because we're so close. Apes can because we're so close in our DNA. So that would be interesting. Can you imagine a big silverback gorilla as a walker? I think that would be so awesome. Just I think that would be cool. Pamela says, I think Dama sees everything and is playing a game with them. She's led them to interesting. She's led them to the park. Interesting.
That's why I think it's going to be one of those groups that they look like the barbarians.
Yeah, because didn't we see that group last week?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they are the Central Park group.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
Because she's thinking they'll take care of them.
Right. So do we kind of have an idea as far, okay, so in that thinking, in that thought process of that lady that spoke up being the Central Park group, a Mad Max group, like Maria said. So I'm wondering what area of New York would be Kim Coates' group. Drama and them are Radio City Music Hall. They're the artistic group in Manhattan. So you have Central Park, so that would be one group. Then you have the Damas group. Do we have two other groups? Is that right? The kid that Negan shot with Lucille last week, he's in charge of one group. We don't know who
That's the group I think it's in Central Park.
Oh, you think the kid? Okay, so not the lady that spoke up, but the kid?
The guy that Negan took the bat with.
Right.
I think it's that group that's in Central Park. That's just me.
Okay. All right. So then we have 4 groups that we're dealing with. Is that right? Including dramas? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I thought when they showed the map, Central Park is like a no man's land. Yeah, I'm not real sure. I haven't quite the Bone People. Who are the Bone People? Is that the guys group? I don't know, Regina. Who are the Bone People? I'm not real sure. I don't know. This being what the second episode, everything is kind of up in the air. We haven't quite got all the information yet for all the groups.
Yeah, I think 3 too, Maria.
Okay.
Yeah, they were 2 groups not on board. It's that one group and then Kim Coates' group.
Okay. All right. Dude that got shocked. Okay. Yeah. So maybe it's just 3 groups plus Dama's. Okay. So
Yeah, because see, Pam said, Dama said they were 2 groups not on board.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out and kind of get it. He wore a vertebrae. You're right, Regina. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that would make sense then. So we have the artsy fartsy group, which is the Dama's group, and then we have what Gina has called the Bone People. So we'll go with that for now. And then we have Kim Coates' group, right? Okay.
Isn't the one that wore that Kim in Kim Coates' group?
No.
Yeah, I think they might have been separate groups. Elizabeth said, "What did you all think about that scene about the painting Dama was talking about?" Okay, so that was the Saturn. That was Saturn eating his children. And again, I did not understand why they had that, but I think that it was, and either Barb or Dawn said it early on, that it was the Dama trying to explain that she just doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't care about anything. And it was kind of a parallel to the way that she felt about kids and about people in general.
I think it was Anissa that said that.
Was that Anissa? Okay. Yeah, I did like the fact that they of course I love all the artsy fartsy stuff. I'm a big fan of the artsy fartsy stuff, and I even like with the Daryl Dixon spinoff when they were at the cave or whatever, where all the performers were and all of that. Because I promise you that in an apocalypse, a zombie apocalypse, man, I would be with all the drag queens and I would be with all the artsy fartsy people for sure. So I do like that they're bringing the music and they're bringing art into it and all of that. But again, sometimes it's just all fluff and it doesn't pertain to the storyline. And so I'm kind of confused on a lot of it. So we'll. Oh, Regina, thank you, honey. Yeah, so it was Anissa. So that was the episode. So what are we hoping to see next week? I can tell you that I'm hoping to see Kim Coates next week.
I'm hoping to see some action.
Yeah. You can be my artsy farts. Thanks, honey. I am your artsy farts. Yeah. I want to see some action. I want to see some death, destruction, and mayhem. I want to see all of that.
So besides that, the camp made 2 announcements tonight.
Who did they announce, Dawn?
Jason Warner Smith and Barb. Who else?
Josh Mickle.
Yes.
Yay.
I would say Mickle.
I'm glad that Josh is coming because he's always a lot of fun.
Yes, he is.
And didn't we have a Patreon birthday this week, Carol?
Yes.
Oh, we did. Terry Collier. Terry
Hey.
Collier, our brother. Terry, happy birthday, Terry. Yeah, we had his
Yes.
birthday.
Happy birthday, Terry.
Happy birthday.
We love you and we'll see you next week.
I'm so excited. Terry is adding to the direction sign. He's got a couple of things up his sleeve that he's adding to that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We always love to see Terry's creative side. So, yeah, and the STN's going to be there and we're going to be there. I'm super excited. I just want this week to be over with. So I can hardly wait. My favorite day of camp is the day that everybody arrives. That's my favorite day. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll be there Tuesday. Dawn, Barb, when will you be there?
Late Wednesday.
Yeah. I'm super excited for Dawn. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Dawn's brother is the reason that Dawn started watching this show. And Dawn's brother is coming to the camp. I'm so excited about that.
And he gets to meet all of you.
Yay.
I'm so excited about that.
I'm so excited. It's going to be so badass because this guy, according to Dawn, he has never met any of the actors or anything like that. And I am just, I'm so excited about that. It's going to be awesome to see him in this setting. Is going to be really cool. Yeah. Julie says that she's getting in on Wednesday. Julie, I'll see you Wednesday, baby, because I'm getting in there on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Kiki says she's got nothing packed. Kiki, my office looks like a bomb has gone off. Yeah. It's bad. It's bad. I have so much shit. I'm sad that my person's not going to be there. She says she's not going to be there, but
We're still holding out hope.
we're still holding out hope. That's right. But if not, we will live you. Absolutely. We will live you, Regina, so that you're a part of it for sure. Kayla and Maria says she doesn't have anything packed either. Girl, you guys got to get on this shit.
I don't either.
Do you not?
I have like stuff laid in a corner, but it's not packed. Like
Close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Pam. I got to bring the big vehicle this time. I always take more shit than I bring back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got all sorts of crap, and we've got a bunch of little giveaways and stuff like that we've got for, for people. So I've got all sorts of fun stuff. So I'm excited. I can hardly wait.
Well, we'll do one more podcast before camp, so we got one more.
Yeah, but I won't be here next week because I will be driving. No, I'll be driving to Alabama. Angel and I, my broke best friend, her and I are driving to. Her and I are going to be driving to Terry and Kay. So I might pop in on the road. So I'll make sure that you guys have the slides and all of that. I'll make sure that it's all uploaded and everything. But Angel and I will be driving to Terry and Kay's Monday night, so I will not be here. So yeah, so I can hardly wait. I mean, I'm tipping out at work. I'm
already checked out. I've already checked out.
as soon as I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm going to be packed Sunday night. The car is going to be loaded Sunday. I'm going to be ready to go. So, yeah, I'm done. I'm so ready. I can hardly stand it. Yeah, it's bad. I have such short timer's disease at work. Oh my God, it's horrible. It is bad. Like I'm making sure all my files and all my installs and all that kind of stuff is all ready to go so that they don't have to bother me. Because I've told my work, look, you call me while I'm on vacation and I get that vacation back. That day I get back. So don't mess with me because I'm not kidding. So I try to make sure that everything is taken care of before I leave so that I have minimal distractions. But yes, Regina, Angel and I are going to Terry Collier's on Monday, so I will not be on the podcast because we'll be driving. I may pop in while we're on the road, but Anyway, Maria says, I'm used to getting there Wednesday, so it will seem like a short trip. Yeah.
All right.
I'm super excited to see y'all and Dawn and Barb and Eliza. I can't wait to hug your guys' necks and everybody that's family. So anyway, all right. So there we go.
Okay, we'd like to thank our Patreons and financial supporters of the show. Yes, Kayla, we would love to have you as a Patreon. Destiny Lorimore, Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Morrison, Tracy Killen Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert, Pamela Blythe, I see Pamela in the comments, Marianne Craig, Brandon Kay, Jason Cohn, Wesley and Sarah Hell, Randy Nickel, Jasmine Mullins, Edward and Diana Ponce Krupa, Jason Hill, Casey and Katrina Florig, Jonathan and Michelle Cooley, Tina Stromberg, Debbie Juno Jerome, Fawn Montalago, Casey Collins, Anissa. Anissa was in the comments. Elizabeth Hanson Green. I saw Elizabeth. David Tuckerman, Crystal Faint. Crystal was in the comments tonight. Kiki was in the house. Samara and Dustin Baker. And special thank you to Oscar and Casey. Okay, you can check us out on our Face group page, our podcast page. If you haven't liked it, please do. We're getting close to 1,000. We really want to reach that milestone. We are on Instagram. Eliza keeps that going. YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We are on Spotify, Twitter, IMDb, and Carol keeps that updated. Merchandise is coming soon. We had to check out a new place. Patreon, you could be a $10 Patreon a month or $20.
And why do people want to be Patreons, Dawn?
Because we get back to the lovely people in the comments, and then Barb has an echelon briefing.
The echelon briefing is one of my absolute favorite things to watch in the evenings. And I know I keep saying this every episode that we do, but it is absolutely hysterical. And if you guys have no clue about Barb, if you've never met her or seen her brain in action, Barb is the trivia queen. And when I say the trivia queen, she is a fucking amazing trivia queen. And she will stump these people. It's fantastic.
Or try to.
Yeah. And of course, Sandy loves the red blob. That's her favorite.
And we are so sorry that we're not playing games this month. I know you probably missed that, but we really needed that break before camp. Yeah. So we'll be back at it when we get back.
Yeah. And even Pam said that damned blob. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it. Some of us will see you next week on Monday, and some of us will see you next week at the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Good night.